Now let's go ahead and see if we can create an actual profile. So when we click on the image on the circle avatar, we want to pop something out so we can create, allow this user to create their own profile. Remember that for each user we have a few fields. So we have avatar, URL, which we have a URL to the image of our avatar, display name, profession, and quote. Of course, this is given or it's added automatically to UI ID. Let's go to where we have our circle avatar here. So we want to make sure that this circle avatar, when it's clicked, we can retrieve that event and show a pop-up or a dialog where we would have a form of some sort. The thing here is that neither circle avatar or size box, which encloses the circle avatar, neither one of these have an on tap field, right? So what can we do is we could either go to the size box, or at least in this case, I'm going to wrap inside of this circle avatar. We can wrap it inside of an inkwell widget, which will give us the tap capabilities. Okay? So I'm going to say command period there. I'm going to go and say wrap new widget. It's going to be inkwell as such. Okay, let's give it a save. Hit enter like that. So now the next thing I want to do here, now that we have this inkwell, if you close there, you can see this is where it ends. I can come down here and say on tap. There it is. And I'm going to pass an anonymous function, which in this case can do something. For now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say show dialog, invoke this show dialog method. Okay, and this show dialog requires a context and also a builder, so it knows how to build what we want to show. So let's go ahead and pass this anonymous function with a block, semicolon. So inside here, I'm going to return an alert dialog. That's an alert dialog, which then if you go control space, it will give us all the options, fields that we can pass. So I'm going to start with the content. So in our alert dialog, it's going to be a pop-up window where we can add other contents or other widgets inside of it. Okay, so in this case here, I'm going to just pass a text that says, let's use the current user dot display name. Okay, just for now. So really, on tap, we're going to invoke the show dialog method. Notice here, this comes flatter material. And then the builder function, we return an alert dialog and we pass just a text for now. The text will have our current user display name. Okay, if we click, there we go, Litos. Now what we want to do is we want to construct this alert dialog here in such way users are able to enter information and then save that information or edit for that matter. Okay, because remember what we have here, as I said, we have display name, which we are able to retrieve, profession, and quote. So we want to pull all of this information onto our alert dialog to give users the option of editing, updating, and do all sort of. All right, so instead of this text there, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to pass here a container, and this container, of course, has child attribute, which we need to pass a widget. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and pass a column as such. And of course, we need children here. So first, I'm going to go ahead and add a row here. And of course, we're going to have children that we need to add. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is let's add another circle avatar. So I'm going to say circle avatar as such. And I'm going to give it a background. So essentially, it's going to be pretty much the same what we had before. And say transparent. I don't want any background to show. Background color, that is. And for the background image, it's going to be network image as such. And we're going to pass a resource. Now the resource is easy to get because we know that we have our current user from our list stream earlier, and we can just invoke that. So I'm going to say cur user that avatar URL like that. But because sometimes we can have a null avatar, I should probably put a statement here to make sure that if it's null, then we can do something else. So if this is null, I'm going to add a stock photo, meaning if all is good, then I'm just going to use the cur user.avatar. And this should be something different. Exclamation point, and say avatar like this. Right. All right, let's put, there we go. That is how it's supposed to look like. So once we have that, let's give a radius of about 50 to make it a little bit larger, and that should look good. Okay, let's go ahead and save this, and we run and see. There we go. So you can see now, and of course you see different image, because remember these images, they show random images from the database, right? So don't worry too much about these images, they will always be random. So we have our circle avatar there. So what we need to do now is to make sure that this is always in the middle, center, because we know we are inside of a row. I can actually do something like this. I can say main axis alignment. I'm going to say main axis center like this. If you save this, save in main, just to make sure. If you click, we should see it's going to be always in the middle. That's very good. Now, the reason why you see me going back and saving on main as well, even though we just save on a different file, is because there's a little bug that I have encountered on my Visual Studio, this editor, code editor here, and you may not have this issue. It may be that when you save from anywhere, the hot reload in this case works fine. But for me, for some reason, and I can't find the solution at this point, the only solution I have is that whenever we control save, or we save, whenever we save inside of main.dart, the hot reload actually reloads correctly. So it may be that you have that issue and it's a bug that I've been looking at and I can't find the solution yet. A lot of people are talking about the same thing, but for now it works. Just go back. If you have the same issue, just go back to main and save as well, and it should be able to reload to the page that you want. All right, so next we're going to add some information about the user at the bottom there. That means that I need to go beyond the row here, because I don't want what I'm going to add next to be side by side. That means then I have to be outside our row, which will still be inside of this column because we see the children there, right? If you click, you can see this ends here. In fact, you can see this row to say this is where it ends. So I'm going to put comma, and now I'm going to add a text, and this text will say something like books read. And we'll come back to this at a later time. But while I'm here, I might as well add a style. And the style I'm going to use, the theme style. So I'm going to say theme.of, and then I'm going to say text theme. I'm going to use the body text one. And I'm also going to say dot copy with, because there's a few things that I want to attach to this style, right? To further customize. I'm going to say color. Say colors dot red accent like this. Next widget I'm going to add is going to be something similar to this, because you see here we have this books read, and I'm going to add the name of the user, and there's a button here so that when it's clicked, it's going to show another pop-up that will allow us to edit this person, this logged in user. All right, so at the bottom here, I'm actually going to put in a row, because if you look correctly, these are side by side. So this is a different from that button. So if that's side by side, of course I'm going to use a row, children as such, and I'm going to say, first I'm going to be a text, and the text is going to have our user, or I should say cur user as such, the display name. I'm going to say to uppercase, because I want all the letters to be to uppercase. And while I'm here, let's go ahead and wrap that inside of a padding. 8 is fine. The agent sets 8 is fine. And let's give it a little style to our text as well. So I'm going to say style. I'm going to use theme of again, and text theme. So text, let's use the subtitle 1. And because we're still inside of our row here, the next one is going to be an icon button, but now it's called the text button icon as such. All right, so let me go ahead and do this for the icon. I'm going to say icon, pass in the icons in the constructor. If I can type icons dot, I want mode edit. so that there's that edit button you can see. All right, for our label here, I'm just going to say text nothing, and I'm going to give a color. And for our icon, I'm going to give a different color, and this is going to be colors.black 12. Let's save this and see. If you click, there it is. Okay, books red, we'll get to that. And we do have Litos, and we have that icon there. So it's looking really good. Remember, this is actually, I made this a little bit bigger so you can see. If I make this smaller or 100%, you can see that's how it's going to look. All right, so it's looking really good, and we'll continue in the next video.